And to shed more light on the joint statement which was released by 8 foreign ministers of Arab and Islamic countries regarding the latest Israeli provocations, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Mr. Ramzi Khoury, Jordanian political analyst. Thank you very much for being with us, sir, and a very good afternoon. Hello?
Hello, Nermeen. My pleasure.
Hello, sir.
My pleasure, Nermeen.
Sir, Egypt, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. How do you see the latest Israeli provocations in general, sir, and how this can be an obstacle on the way to implement on the ground the second phase of the U.S. peace plan, which was adopted in Sharm el-Sheikh in the peace summit, which was held in October?
The biggest problem with Israel, Nermeen, is that they are totally distrustworthy. So you can actually reach an agreement with them and they will break the agreement immediately. And this is exactly what they have done since the ceasefire. The ceasefire was signed 7 weeks ago, yet Israel has breached that ceasefire over 600 times in the 7 weeks. And obviously, the latest problem is when Israel declared that they are going to allow the opening of the Rafah crossing only one way, so the Palestinians can leave but never come back. And this is totally against Trump's 20-point plan. This is totally against the agreement that was reached in the ceasefire. And it is a continuation of Israel's attempts to continue its ethnic cleansing and genocide. The breaches have killed dozens and dozens of people. Only yesterday, Nermeen, the Israelis attacked a family, killing 3 members of that family who were basically heading to their farm. They also attacked the fishermen who were trying to get some fish. None of the provisions of the ceasefire were respected by Israel. And therefore, this is the problem. The problem is that is not a partner for peace. That side of any agreement has always breached the agreement. And for as long as the United States of America continues to give Israel the green light to breach agreements, then this is not going to stop. So the statement that was made by the Arab and Islamic countries was extremely important because it's a message to the United States of America to intervene immediately in order to safeguard this process.
The United States to intervene, meaning that we all knew the news that Netanyahu is going to be in the White House upon an invitation by American President Donald Trump soon. Do you think that this meeting is going to end with some positive results on the ground, at least for Trump to guarantee that his peace plan is going to be implemented and Israel is not going to continue with its provocations? Or are these our optimistic dreams, but unfortunately on the ground the case is totally different? What's your vision, sir?
Well, Trump doesn't need to see Netanyahu face to face to tell him to stop or to demand that he adheres to the agreement. Absolutely, let us be hopeful that when Netanyahu goes up to the United States and meets with Trump, Trump is going to tell him, you are not going to be allowed to destroy the agreement. We are going into the second phase. And by the way, the second phase should have already started. We are late going into the second phase. So Trump only...
we are late because unfortunately the swap even of the prisoners and the hostages, the bodies, it was very hard because many of them were under the rubble after the devastating attacks which took place during the Israeli genocide war. Returning back, if you permit me, Mr. Khoury, to the joint statement by the Arab and Islamic foreign ministers, how do you see it as once again sending this message or renewing the unwavering stance of the Islamic and Arab nations regarding what's going on the ground or regarding the Israelis' provocations and unfortunate situation?
It's a vital stance against ethnic cleansing because the Arabs and Muslim nations should be concerned that if you allow Palestinians out through Rafah but not allow them back in again, Israel is going to commit ethnic cleansing, and the Arabs and Muslim nations are not going to be partners in the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. So this is a vital step. But in my opinion, this is not, the Arabs and Islamic stance is not what is going to stop Netanyahu, because Netanyahu has never been stopped by a stance made by the Arabs. What Netanyahu needs is an American decision that will actually threaten Netanyahu. You are going to do this or else. This is the only way, and we've seen over and over for the past over 2 years now. The Israelis try to wriggle out of agreements, try to go back to their ethnic cleansing program, and this is the last attempt. But this is a very dangerous attempt, because there are so many Palestinians who need to get out of Gaza, at least for medical procedures, but they want to come back.
Sir,
to blackmail them and say, if you leave for medical procedures, you're not going to come back. This is outright blackmail, and this is ethnic cleansing, and the Arabs are not going to be partners in this, especially not Egypt.
Especially not Egypt, and Egypt's unwavering stance was very much clear to the whole world since the start of the whole issue in October 2023. But sir, I'd like to mention here regarding Rafah and the Rafah crossing, how do you see the importance of the very high-ranking visits by international officials to Rafah, and to see themselves or to witness themselves the situation there? Last but not least, one of the EU commissioners, Dubravka Switzer, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, and she was there accompanied by General Khalid Megawer, the governor of North Sinai, and she witnessed herself what's going on the ground, and the Egyptian efforts to facilitate the entry of the Palestinian injured and patients, and also the humanitarian aid. How do you see this as one of the ways to tell the international community what's going on the ground, and to welcome them all the time, to let them witness themselves the situation?
Well, with Israeli lives flying around all over the world, the Egyptians have to come and show all of these officials with their own eyes what is really going on the ground. And this is extremely important. Because the Israelis lie, and the Israeli propaganda machine is working at its utmost right now, spreading these lies. And obviously, a lot of lies are an attack on Egypt, to give the impression, well, it's the Egyptians who are not allowing the food in, or the medical supplies, or the tents. Now it's winter and it's raining, by the way, and it's really cold in Gaza right now. Yet most Palestinians don't have a roof over their heads, and they do not have the tents. Why? Because Israel did not allow any of that to go through. But this last fiasco of allowing the Palestinians. By the way, Israel is not allowing all Palestinians to leave. Israel is also saying that they will only they will do a security check on those who will leave, and they will decide who will leave and who will not leave. All of this is ridiculous. All of this is in breach of international law. All of this needs to be stopped immediately. And by inviting anyone, any party, whether it is an international party like the United Nations or the NGOs that are monitoring the situation, or the EU, any party should be invited to go down to Rafah and to see what's going on at the borders, and Egypt is just doing that. And that's extremely important. Otherwise, there is no way to counter the Israeli propaganda machine that is rampant, trying to portray Israel as the country that is under attack, and it's not its fault. Well, Israel is at fault by international law. Israel is at fault in accordance to what the whole world can see.
to all the whole world can see. And you mentioned the Israeli propaganda more than once, sir. And here I should ask, do you think that the Israeli propaganda can be sold anymore? The Israelis can sell their propaganda anymore? Or the international community, whether in the East or the West, in Africa or in Europe, in Asia or even in the Americans, on the people's level at least, do you think that the Israeli genocide war still permit the Israelis to continue with their pseudo or false propaganda they were trying to publish or to spread all over the world? Or what was going on the ground for more than 2 years, and the killing of more than 70,000 Palestinians, mainly women, children and minors, is now something which cannot be denied by anyone?
Israel understands that its propaganda is not as effective as it used to be. Israel understands that it has lost support in the streets of almost all nations in the world, especially in Europe and the United States of America. And Israel is therefore pouring billions of dollars into acquiring media such as TikTok. They just bought TikTok. They bought CBS. They bought CNN. They are buying all media, whether it is new media such as TikTok and the social media, or the traditional media, in order to try to change the course of the story. And the Israeli storyline, despite the fact that today we know that the world suddenly sees what Israel is about, and sees what's going on to the Palestinians, the Israelis are putting all possible effort to reverse this. And therefore, it still is extremely important for the Arab nations, especially Egypt, with their move to bring in all of these dignitaries to the Rafah border to see with their own eyes. It's extremely important to continue to work against the Israeli propaganda machine, because the Israelis are pouring billions of dollars, not their own money. The Israelis are not famous for spending their own money. The Israelis are getting the support of all of these big Zionist billionaires worldwide in order to acquire these
Amen to that, sir. But it's no secret that the Israeli budget was approved yesterday, and they added millions, or not millions, billions of dollars for their defense, or as they call it, defense budget. And this was announced to the whole world.
They are hoping to get from America, right?
Yeah.
They are hoping to get,
they're hoping,
as usual.
Yeah. Sir, since you're...
I say they're hoping because even that is changing inside of America. There are American politicians today who are saying we should not be giving Israel all of the military support we've been giving before. And this is very dangerous for the Israelis, because without America, Israel wouldn't have been able to, would not have stood a chance.
And it's our best interest to seize this opportunity, sir. But how? This is the story. And here I'd like to ask a question for you as a writer and a political analyst regarding our homework at the Arab and Islamic nations. Sir, how do you see the importance of reminding the international community of Sabra, Shatila, Qana, Deir Yassin, Hebron, or I prefer to say Al-Khalil massacre? It's Al-Khalil, not Hebron, by the way. In addition to other massacres which took place by Israel for decades, and until the moment, by the way, they were not punished for it. And they thought that what they have been doing in the past 2 years is going to go, as the French are saying, en passant, as the other massacres also went en passant. How do you see, sir, the importance of reminding the world, or is it time to remind the world with the Israeli massacres which took place in at least the past 4 or 5 decades?
Absolutely, Nermeen. It's extremely important because it did not start on the 7th of October.
Yeah.
It started in 1948, even before 1948. But since 1948, the Palestinians have been faced with massacres, ethnic cleansing, genocide and the demolitions of homes. The Israelis have stolen their lands and built settlements all over the West Bank. Gaza has been put under siege way before the 7th of October, and the Gazans were under the mercy of the Israelis for so many years. And all of this needs to be spoken of, because the world needs to understand that it did not start on the 7th of October. The 7th of October was a reaction to Israeli action that preceded it, and for so long. But also, we need to highlight what is going on in the West Bank, which is extremely dangerous.
Yes, amen to that.
The Israelis are grabbing more lands. They're killing Palestinians on a daily basis. The torture of Palestinian prisoners inside of Israeli prisons has never been as ugly as it is today. There was news yesterday that Palestinian leader Marwan al-Barghouti is badly hurt and injured inside of prison because of torture, and the world is not doing what it needs to do. The world should have been monitoring what is going on inside these prisons. What is the world today doing about the Israeli seizure of Palestinian land in the West Bank?
The world is in fear of anti-Semitism, sir. The world is not looking at Palestine as they have looked to Vietnam or Stalingrad or all the epics they used to talk about, unfortunately. But it's our role to remind them of what the Palestinians are doing just to stick to their land and for their legitimate rights only to live. Well, Mr. Ramzi Khoury, our Jordanian political analyst, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day.